this past weekend in Atlantic City. We had Jaron Boots Ennis return, stopping the WBA champion Stanionis in 6 rounds.
It was a clear, dominant performance. Boots really showed that he's levels above the guys at 147.
I think he can go full on undisputed.
When it comes to Boots, he's such a showman. He shows me hints of Roy Jones Jr. a little bit.
2 main critiques I saw last night. 1, he gets hit too much, and 2, Stanionis and his inactivity.
Oh, he got hit with a couple right hands. Imagine that was Crawford, or imagine that was a Virgil Ortiz.
He's chasing legacy at 147, which, I respect it. But I'm just waiting for his time at 147 to end so then I can see the real stuff at 154.
But at 154, he's going to get the legacy fights. Those fights, they're really going to show a lot of what Boots is made of. Put him to the actual test. Let's see how good you are.
Welcome back to another episode of the Last Round Podcast, where we cover everything from traditional boxing to influencer boxing and everything in between. In today's episode, we'll be going over Jaron Ennis's TKO stoppage win over Stanionis this past weekend and giving our thoughts about his performance. But before we get into the episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on all forms of social media. Lastly, we're trying to build up a community on Discord, and you guys joining would be greatly appreciated. And now, diving into the episode, this past weekend in Atlantic City, we had Jaron Boots Ennis return in stunning fashion, stopping the WBA champion Stanionis in 6 rounds. This was...
I think it was in 8 rounds, I believe.
I thought it was 6.
It was 6?
Oh, it's okay. 6, yeah, it's 6. In 6 rounds, because he dropped him in the 6th, and then they stopped in the corner. But yes, Boots returned, became the new unified champion and the new Ring Magazine champion as well. So he got 3 belts at the 147 and showcased the level that he's at, which is, in my opinion, the best welterweight on the planet.
Exactly. He needed a performance like this, and to shut down the haters, to make it clear, who is the top guy at 147, and he did just that. I mean, I was very impressed. We were talking about it last episode. I was leaning heavily towards Boots, and it was a clear, dominant performance. I mean, it was really not competitive. Boots really showed that he's levels above the guys at 147.
Yeah, for me, look, I don't want to say that I'm a hater, because I think the past few years, Boots has showed me personally that this guy is definitely going to be the number 1 guy, especially at 147. And to be honest, it surprised me that he actually stopped his opponent, because I just assumed that Stanionis was going to bring a little bit more into the fight. I thought he was going to be a little bit more tougher, a little bit more durable and all that stuff. But no, that really only, to be honest, that just shows me personally that Boots is just that guy. There's no stopping him, especially right now. What is he, 28? He's entering his prime years right now. He's at the top right now for sure. I don't see anyone else beating him.
Well, yeah, it was crazy too, because he made Stanionis quit. I mean, the corner obviously was it's not looking that good. But I think he himself was shaking his head. He didn't want any more. His face was a little busted up. He just got dropped. I mean, and it seemed like he was able to catch Boots at points with some punches. But in general, Boots was just controlling the distance on him. It seemed, I think he really broke him, not only physically, but also mentally. And Stanionis did not want any more of that smoke.
Yeah, I think one of the key factors in the fight was Boots, his the body shots, the body work he did from the first round. He started, ripping the body, and I think that did play dividends at the end. And it slowed down Stanionis, who, I mean, we talked about it before. We know exactly what he's gonna do. He's a consistent pressure fighter, hands up, and he's there to just apply the pressure and to land good shots. And he landed the good shots. I mean, it's a lot of people still criticize Ennis about his defense, saying, "Yo, man, he gets hit too much, too often." And Stanionis was able to catch him with a couple of flush shots, but at the end of the day, it didn't matter. I mean, Boots showcased he's got a good chin, and he just showcased that he's the best 147 fighter on the planet. So I think the critique right now on him about him work on his defense is something to take notice. But I think that he's at a level that he can potentially get hit with a good couple of shots if he brings excitement to the ring.
Yeah, it happens to him. It happens to all the guys. They're not going to be perfect. And Boots did get caught a couple of times where probably he shouldn't have gotten caught. But I think he's like one of those fighters that kind of like rises to his opponent's type of level. Like if he thinks he can get away with, kind of like bringing the level down, then he would do it. He would get hit on purpose to like maybe push the fight or really try to get him out of there quick. I mean, Boots realized immediately that he was levels above Stanionis, and he realized that he can hurt him too. He was landing some great combinations on him. So he decided to be a little bit more aggressive, more offensive, and that takes you're not going to be 100% in the defense. He just put a little bit more into his offense, and it worked out. I mean, 6 rounds, and he took this guy out of there. So it's still very impressive.
Yeah, for me, I mean, that's what surprised me the most as well, because look, in my personal scorecards, I had Boots winning all the rounds, right? And except the 4th round, I was about to give it to Stanionis, but that was the round where Boots, the last 30 seconds, he just let his hands go. Like the whole first 2 minutes and 30 seconds of that round, Stanionis was getting the better exchanges. He was having the better eye-catching shots and moments. But then the last 30 seconds, Boots just lets his hands go, and then he just busts up his nose right away. Boom. And then he has him retreating on the back foot, and then the round ends.
He rocked him that round.
And he rocked him as well, too. So, like, for me, it was just so amazing, the fact that Boots was just playing around with his food. He was just playing around with Stanionis. He was doing those movements. He was trying to be all, like, funny, trying to get those, like, Instagram reel moments or whatever.
Yeah, he's a showman at the end of the day, Yeah, that's why I like Boots. He does do a little bit, that showman stuff, but it's not like corny or not cringe. It's like authentic. You could tell like he really likes doing that, and it looks cool. I think they always for Boots, they always put the highlight when he was going up against Roman Villa and he started going like in slow motion. Like that was fire. Like so he's one of those type of guys. So I mean, he's continuing to do that against better and better opposition. I mean, Stanionis, one of the champions at 147, he did, I believe he was coming off of a layoff. So perhaps that played a factor, but to say, just because he's coming off a layoff, this is not an impressive win is just completely not true. I think Boots should be very proud of himself, and onward to the other champions.
Yeah, the 2 main critiques I saw last night or this past weekend was 1, he gets hit too much, and 2, Stanionis and his inactivity. I mean, Stanionis had only 1 fight within the past 2 years now. I mean, he was chasing that Virgil Ortiz fight, never came into fruition. I mean, Virgil, like I said last time, Virgil Ortiz kept dying on the scale, so it kept getting pushed back, postponed, and Stanionis didn't take a fight in between there. No, he just continued waiting, and he never got the opportunity. Therefore, hence the inactivity, which you could pin it on him too for trying to take the chance of getting that fight with Virgil. But yeah, so that's a lot of another critique I see. Oh, he was inactive, maybe not the ring rust and the level. I mean, it affected Stanionis, and I think that's a bit disingenuous to what Boots brought out on this past weekend. And I think they're just trying to chip away or trying to take away any like as much credit as they possibly can to Boots, but I think it's I don't like that type of argument that they're using.
No, and you got to feel for Stanionis, man. I mean, he was just trying to get that Virgil fight. Yeah. That would have been a good fight, very big fight at 147. And like you said, it just never happened. And that's not a Stanionis fault. That's Virgil's fault and his team's fault for continuously trying to make 147, knowing damn well that his body can't handle it. So I mean, he did kind of edge on Stanionis to keep on getting that fight, but didn't happen, So it was it's good long layoff, and layoffs do affect the fighter. But yeah, don't try to discredit Boots just because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you're at the top of your game, the top of your industry, you're gonna have people that are just gonna hate on you. And right now, like, you can't really hate on Boots other than the fact that you just don't care for him. You know what I'm saying? You're just gonna hate just to hate. You're gonna nitpick at the negative things that he does. Like, oh, he got hit with a couple right hands. Imagine that was Crawford, or imagine that was Virgil Ortiz or whatever. So it's just people talking just to talk.
Yeah, so that's the big the two big critiques I see about this performance from Boots. And now that he has successfully won the WBA, retained his IBF, and also has won the Ring Magazine, he's now the new unified champion at 147, taking out one of the champions. Now he has two other targets. He's got Mario Barrios and he's got Brian Norman Jr. Now, in regards to Boots, I said it before and I'll say it again. I think he's best fighter at 147. I think he can go full on undisputed in the division. What's next for him? If you were managing Boots in his career and you were looking at these two champions, what would you consider aiming for? A Mario Barrios or a Brian Norman Jr.?
I think you have to go Mario Barrios right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think Brian Norman would be the bigger name, and it'd be a little bit more exciting for the fans. Mario Barrios is there. You know, he was a guy that started at 140, fought Gervonta Davis, lost there, which is actually a lot of people were kind of questioning him, saying, you know, he wasn't that good. He wasn't going to become a world champion. He comes up to 147 and he has a performance of his life against Ugas, becomes world champion. So, you know, shout out to Mario Barrios, because honestly, I personally feel that his level is definitely lower than the other champions at 147. So I think he's definitely the weaker link. I think it's a very, very good fight for Boots Ennis. So he should be going for that. And I think Eddie Hearn knows that as well. Which is funny. It was so funny seeing Eddie Hearn just so happy after the fight.
I think he picked him up too. That's how happy he was.
Yeah, he picked him up. It's so funny. Hey, if I was a fighter, I'd want my promoter to be jumping up and down when I won too. Yeah. So, you know, shout out Eddie Hearn. I think his fighters really do like him. So I think he is gonna, you know, try to make Boots undisputed at 147. I definitely think it's possible. So, you know, keep an eye on that. Even though low key, I did see Eddie Hearn talk about a Terrence Crawford fight, which I don't think is very realistic.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, with him and Mario Barrios, I think that's an easier fight to make. I think there's not a lot of business hurdles and other hurdles that, you know, both camps can't come to an agreement to. I think Brian Jr. is the one that may be a little bit more difficult to make that fight, because, you know, they were supposed to fight a year or so ago and then it just never happened. Mm-hmm. So that was a little bit weird. So, I mean, to be honest, look, I might make a prediction. I think maybe Brian Norman Jr. might go up in weight after this performance. Like, he just destroyed Stanionis, and I would say that it was Boots, Stanionis, Brian Norman Jr., and then Barrios. So I feel like he might just run up to 154 because he's a big guy. Yeah.
I think the better route would be for Barrios and Norman to have a unification. Let them unify, and then winner takes on Boots for all the belts. I think it makes the occasion a lot bigger. I mean, it also helps Boots, who, in my opinion, I think he's coming to the final days of his time at 147. I mean, did you see him during fight week? He looked drained, absolutely drained. And then fight day, he looked bloated as hell, man. He looked massive compared to Stanionis. So
yeah, there was definitely some pictures going around. There's a bit of AI generation, a bit of filters. They're making him look even worse. Yeah, but he did look bad. I mean, he looked very, very skinny.
Yeah. So like I said, Boots is nearing his final days at the 147. I don't see him having much future there. Probably mid next year would be probably like the time we might see him move up to 154, which is what I want to see. But in regards to 147, make the fight a lot bigger. I mean, unify Mario Barrios and Brian Norman Jr., and then boom, next fight would be undisputed. And I think that would be a great, I mean, we will see the 147 fight for an undisputed champion for like the second time in the last 3 years, which is pretty big considering how boxing often moves with its champions, that they never fight each other or never try to unify, or much less become undisputed champions. So yes, I think the better route would be Mario Barrios and Brian Norman, and then the winner fights for undisputed against Boots.
Do you think that Boots should just wait it out then? Like, not fight this year?
Potentially, yes. I mean, Mario Barrios, last time we saw him was on the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson undercard, where he fought Abel Ramos, and he didn't look good. He got dropped. No. He got a draw out of it, so he retained his belt, but it was definitely not the most impressive showing from Mario Barrios. Brian Norman Jr., on the other hand, coming off a very impressive stoppage win not too long ago. So he's definitely the one who I think would give Boots more trouble than Barrios. Barrios, like you said, I do believe he's the weakest champion out of the three. But hey, Mario Barrios, Brian Norman Jr., I think they should kick it up, man. And Boots, maybe wait a little bit, maybe defend your belt, as you wait. But definitely try to make Brian Norman and Barrios fight for unification.
Yeah.
That'd be my ideal route for undisputed at 147.
Yeah, so Eddie Hearn definitely has to make some plans happen, and I think he does. I think he's a really good promoter, so I'm expecting him to make a fight, but I don't know if I want to see him sit out though. I don't know if Boots is going to be able to sit down. Also, I'm unsure whether or not they'd be able to make a fight with Brian Norman and Mario Barrios. I think that definitely would be better, but I think it's usually like a champion that has like 3 of the belts, and then like the final champion. Like Boots takes everyone individually.
Yeah, I mean they're also different promoters too. I mean you got Matchroom, Boots is with Matchroom. You got Brian with Top Rank, and you got Mario Barrios with PBC.
With MVP.
Is he actually?
No, I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure he's still signed.
Yeah, he's with the PBC or Al Heyman.
Yeah. So I mean, you got 3 different promoters. I don't know how. I mean, if Turkey comes in, he's all like, "Hey, what's goody, man?" He starts showing a bit of cash, checking his name, stuff like that. Then maybe they'll be a bit more inclined to for unifications between these 3 promotions. But yeah, I think there are some hurdles going on there. And I think Brian Norman, though, if he's given the opportunity to fight Boots again, I mean, I think he's gonna take it now. I mean, he got the harassment that he got when he declined the fight against Boots was, I don't know, it was a public humiliation, man.
Yeah, they started calling him a duck and everything. Yeah,
they were eating him up online, dude. So I don't think he wants to go through that again. And now that he's coming off this impressive win, he's a lot more motivated now. So he's more confident.
Yeah.
Therefore, I think he truly believes that he can take on Boots.
Well, it's kind of his own fault, low key, with the harassment, because I guess it's also his team's fault, because it's his dad as well, right?
Yeah.
His dad got a big mouth, and then it just by relation, it makes Brian Norman Jr. also unlikable. So I think he definitely brought it on himself, because the dad's always just barking, and then you go and duck Boots Ennis like that, and it's just like the people are gonna be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Look, for me, I mean, his last performance was pretty good. A great performance. I think he got like an early stoppage, but I mean, it was against a guy who was unknown. Okay, he was just defending his belt, and to be honest, I truly do think if it comes to push to shove, Brian Norman isn't going to fight Boots. He doesn't want to go through that. He went through the humiliation of being called the duck online. Then he's going to get humiliated by getting a KO stoppage by Boots. So I don't think he wants to go and endure that. But that's just me. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I do want to see Undisputed again at 147. It might happen. It could happen. Turkey comes in, like I said, shows off the bills, and something can come out of that. But I think honestly, I want to see Boots go up to 154. I think that's where we're really gonna see the level he's at, because I mean 147, it's not the best division in boxing. I mean, but the 154. Now that's the best division in boxing right now. So I want to see how he pairs up against fighter like Bohachuk, fighter like Madrimov, like El Mono Ramos, those types of fighters. Virgil Ortiz right there. That's the mega fight at 154. Terrence Crawford, if he doesn't retire after fighting Canelo. I want to see how he does, man. Fundora. I mean, come on, dude. There's Hammer Time Lubin. You got Charles Conwell.
Mendoza.
I mean, you got Tim Zhu, Mortazaliev. I mean, we got big names at 154, and I want to see Boots, after finishing his business as soon as possible at 147, go up to 154 and get paired up against these guys, because they're going to be bigger guys. We saw how Virgil was. Demolished everyone at 147, went up to 154, and his power isn't kicking as it used to, man, against these elite fighters at 154, bigger fighters who can take his punch. So I want to see how Boots is able to react to that type of level, or that those types of fighters at that weight division, because I think it's gonna be very telling to see what level Boots is at when he moves up to 154.
Yeah, one of the opponents I really want to see is Terrence Crawford. You know, he was the other guy. You know, we're saying right now Jaron Ennis is going to be the next unified world champion at 147. The last one was Terrence Crawford, and I feel like that's a fight I really want to see. I really want to watch. You know, there's a lot of different plans. I feel like right now, you know, that talk between the fans saying that they wanted to see Terrence Crawford and Boots Ennis, I think that those talks have died down a little bit just based off the facts that, you know, these two guys are on a different road now. You know, I think Boots is out here trying to make his own legacy. I think Crawford is trying to maybe look for a very, very big payday against Canelo, and then, you know, getting a big payday like that, one doesn't know if he's going to continue to want to pursue this career or just retire. But that's a fight that I would like to see. I mean, you know, Terrence Crawford, you know, he's not a champion anymore at 154, but it's still a fight that I would like to see if there's, you know, Crawford still stays or moves back down after that Canelo fight. There's Boots right there.
Yeah, there's definitely, you know, fans have been talking about that fight for a while. And I think, yeah, I like what you said with Boots. You know, him staying at 147 is him trying to build his legacy right there, because they're not massive fights. You know, him against Mario Barrios isn't like a pay-per-view, like super mega fight. Him against Brian Norman, again, it's not a super mega fight. Super mega fights are at 154. So, and he could easily go up to 154 if he wants. He can say, "Hey, Eddie Hearn, I'm moving up. I don't care. I don't care about these fights." The reason why is because he wants the belts. He wants to be cement himself. Jaron Ennis was a undisputed champion at 147. So, you know, he's chasing legacy. You got to respect it. You know, you gotta. He's not worried about the popularity. Not too much worried about the money. You know, he can make much more money at 154. He could be much more popular at 154. But he wants to get the belts. You know, he wants to get the accomplishments, the accolades. So I like that about him. I think it's a good plan. You know, stay at 147, build your skills. Like you said, 28 years old. He's still gonna learn so much more in these next couple of fights. And when he's ready, move up to 154. They're still going. All the champions and all the good fighters are still gonna be there. And then we can really see some good fights.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, when someone holds off on the money, you know, the money comes later. You know, Boots, once he gets all these belts, you know, the money is going to come in. I mean, that includes stardom, a superstar within the boxing scene. That means every time he fights, it might be in Philadelphia, or every time he does fight in Philly, they're going to come out and support him. They're going to come out and, you know, fill up those seats. And, you know, when it comes to Boots, you know, he's such a showman. I feel like he shows me hints of Roy Jones Jr. a little bit, almost, with the dancing, the speed, the timing, the power. He can switch stance. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like I think he's doing his own thing right now.
But definitely 154, man. Yeah. 154. I'm telling you, man. If you add Jaron Ennis to the 154 roster, then that it adds more enticing matchups for him. I mean, of course, we got the famous fight between him and Virgil Ortiz that has been brewing since Virgil's time at 147. But man, I want to see him fight like Mortazaliev, man, or like a Bohachuk type of fighter, because I mean, we saw in Stanionis a very consistent pressure fighter. And you got the same with a fighter like Mortazaliev or a fighter like Bohachuk more specifically. So we're talking about, let's say we match up Boots against Bohachuk. Bohachuk is going to bring somewhat the same pressure style as Stanionis, but he's a massive motherfucker,
He's
bro.
huge.
He's huge, yeah, exactly. And he can take a punch and he hits hard as fuck too.
Yeah.
So how will Boots react to a fighter like that against a Sebastian Fundora, a 6'6", a 6'5", 6'6" fighter? Like, how are you gonna deal with someone like that? And there's so many big fights for him at 154, of course, like you've said. I completely agree. He's chasing legacy at 147, which, you know, I respect it. But I'm just waiting for his time at 147 to end so then I can see the real stuff at 154. And I think that's what a lot of fans want to see too. I mean, the 154 is the best division in boxing. And once you keep adding these big names like Boots Ennis to the mix, then you get a lot more dream matchups that the fans want to see. So I'm just waiting on his time to come at 154, man.
Yeah, at 147, he's getting the accolades, the accomplishments, but at 154 he's gonna get the legacy fights. That's where like the real we're talking about like pound for pound rankings. You know, you beat this guy convincingly, you're shooting up, you're right there at the pound for pound. So you know those fights, yeah, they're really gonna show a lot of what Boots is made of. Show, you know, put him to the actual test of like let's see who you are, let's see how good you are. So of course I can't wait for 154. I think we definitely will see it before the end of 2026. I think he is gonna fight at 154.
Well, it just depends on the pace of the other champions at 147 and what they decide on doing regarding their next fights, because now they're all free. I mean, yeah, like I said, Mario Barrios hasn't fought since November. Brian Norman just recently fought, and I mean Boots fought this past weekend. So I mean, as of what I know right now, Mario Barrios has no plans. Jaron Ennis has no big plans. I mean, taking the little break. Brian Norman has nothing coming up either. So I mean, talking and negotiation can begin, and I feel like it's the perfect time for something to start brewing. But it all falls down on the fighter and their team, you know, making sure like, okay, does this really make sense for us to try to go against Boots at this time? You know, maybe we can get a couple more title defenses in there, you know, get you a little bit more sharp in the ring. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going behind the scenes, but it just depends on the timing regarding when we will see Boots go up to 154. But you guys also see, yeah, you're like a little off topic, but Neon was there in the Boots' dressing room before the fight.
In his dressing room,
yeah,
when he was getting wrapped up or had his gloves on.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He was there, and I remember. I don't know. First, that was such a random thing at first, but then I remembered that Neon got trained by Boots for a little bit for like a stream. You know, he was doing pads with him and whatever. So I guess, you know, Neon really fucks with Boots. So you know, he was backstage with him, you know, prior to the walkout, just saying hi, you know, saying like, oh, the chat is going crazy for you.
Yeah. Oh, was he streaming as well?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Boots just getting locked into the mentality, and then here comes this like scrawny little kid Neon with glasses. Hey, look, all the fans, the chat's saying do a good job. You're like, thank you, man.
Yeah. Bro's going for unification. You got Neon here trying to get his viewers up, man. For real. No, but then the funny part was also Eddie Hearn was in the dressing room, and he was part of Neon's stream for a bit, and they publicly called out Jack Duarte.
Oh yeah, Jack Doherty.
Doherty's.
Yeah, the other streamer.
Yeah, like the one that everyone always be hating on.
Yeah,
he's like a prankster.
Yeah, he's like a OnlyFans like manager or some shit like that. Yeah, I don't think he is a streamer. Or no, I think he is a streamer. But everyone hates him.
Yeah, they all be hating him. But yeah, Eddie Hearn, like I think he called out for Neon against Jack Duarte or whatever. And then when I heard that, I was like, hey man, Adin Ross and his promotion. I mean, he can set that up, man. He can set that up.
I think Adin Ross would definitely set it up. Now he's becoming another guy in the influencer boxing scene, and pretty quickly. You know, I mean, he's kind of already starting to cement himself, especially with like I feel like Misfits is kind of like shrinking a little bit. Some of their market size might be going down. Adin Ross is jumping in, and he's getting these fights. These fights made. I mean, he just had an event recently as well, another event, and Dana White was there. I mean, he's getting some big names at his events.
It's kind of crazy because, you know, when Misfits came to the scene, huge event, you know, their first event was massive. You know, you had Logan Paul there, you had like nearly sold out crowd. The energy was crazy. And then fast forward to 2025, I mean, we have cancellations, postponements. A lot of these fighters are upset because they're saying, yo, we're training and now we get it canceled. I mean, it's fight week and we just find out that the event is no longer going on. So there's a lot of, you know, 2025 right now is not looking good for Misfits. And you have Adin Ross, brand risks here coming out of nowhere, and it's pretty much I feel like stealing the spotlight at the moment. And there's definitely some hot competition for Misfits, who I thought was gonna be the king.
Yeah, I mean, they had a little beef, the two organizations, in the past because of some licensing. Oh no, because Dean the Great, right?
Yeah. Dean the Great, and also they were claiming they weren't like a sanctioned organization because they didn't have like the proper paperwork license, stuff like that. So then he went. Adin Ross said, "Fuck, okay, I'm gonna go get it." So he got everything. He's officially he's professional now.
Yeah. No, it's so funny. Adin Ross is just doing that shit out of spite. Like KSI and Misfits made him into like actually taking it serious. At the beginning, he was just taking it like fun, like hosting his friends, do like some boxing event, and then they started putting pressure on Adin Ross. He's like, all right, I'm gonna show you I can do this, and boom, now he's doing it. He's doing a damn good job. And Misfits is about to lose one of their icons, KSI. Yeah, it seems he doesn't even want to fight anymore, which is a massive hit.
Yeah, and I mean, we called it too. We said like, yo, like KSI doesn't really want to fight. He hasn't been wanting to fight. He's just pressured to fight by the fans, and he's pressured by his own promise that he made to the fans that I will be the one to take out Jake Paul. That was like 20 years ago. So KSI, I know he doesn't want to fight, and he verbally admitted it that he's teasing retirement from boxing, which I don't blame him, and I don't think he really has any.
It's the motivation. That's what I see.
The motivation, yeah. There's no big thing like that for him, and also, he's got bigger fish to fry. He doesn't need to be getting hit in the head or waking up and training, going through camp. It's grueling stuff. He does not need to be doing that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, he's just a YouTuber,
yeah,
he didn't grow up as an athlete, as a boxer, and that's gonna take a toll on you.
Exactly. So I don't blame him for wanting to leave, but you got Adin Ross, who I know he's loving the promotion because they keeps on the people who be going, like you said. He had Dana White pull up. He had Ice Spice there. He's had Andrew Tate. Teofimo Lopez be showing up. A lot of other big streamers go.
Yeah, a lot of other internet celebrities as well.
It's becoming like the
new thing.
Yeah. Like the new UFC. Like for because they do the fan cams and or the celebrity cams, and you would see like Trump or you'd see like these actors pull up, and then they do it for brand. You see all these like celebrity streamers there, and you're like, oh shit, they're there too. Sneeko, what are you doing here, man? But a brand risk. Yeah, they've definitely shattered my expectations, and they are really aiming to I feel right now overtake Misfits for 2025.
I think it's possible. It seems, and they're having events like very consistently as well. And it's not like these events have like nobodies. Like these guys, people actually like tune into these events. People be going. He has not only there's like entertainment value as well, because you got like funny people on the commenting table, and sometimes they would just be talking about like random stuff. So it kind of feels like an Adin Ross stream while you're also watching some fighting. And obviously Adin Ross has a massive fan base for streaming, so it's interesting. I want to see where it goes. It's funny because it's also in a cage, even though it's just boxing. I guess it does. I guess it makes it a little cooler. You get locked in the cage type of thing, but it definitely seems like it's going to become the next big thing.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to get only bigger and bigger from here now. You have different internet celebrities, people that have a major following that just be showing up, that pull up randomly. And then you got like actual people who kind of know the sport of fighting. You got Teofimo Lopez, you got Dana White, just in his last in the last outing. They actually have an idea of how to fight. So it's almost as if when one tunes in, like it's not just a bunch of random people like talking or whatever. Yeah. It's people that actually know everything that has to do with about fighting.
Dog, next thing you know, we're gonna get fucking done with Trump walking into the brand risk. He's gonna be on the commentating table, bro.
Dude, that'd be insane. Dude, that stream would break records, dude. If they got Trump to pull up
on
to
the mic
to watch some like low quality fight, bro.
Yeah, and that's the funny part too, because it's at the end of the day just two amateurs who have zero experience fighting, and that's always fun when two people that don't know how to fight are put into a cage or put on the gloves and they're like, okay, go. So it adds a little bit more of entertainment value. But one thing that I want to say that you said was the fact that it seemed as though the reason why this whole brand risk promotion was created was to kind of like show the middle finger to Misfits Boxing.
Oh, that was him.
That was
Oh,
me.
it was you? Apologies. Yeah, I feel like because Dean the Great was going to have that sparring session, I think, but he was going to get paid. So I think that's where everything started, and that's how they, Misfits fucked up, I guess.
Yeah,
Let's
they
put it that
created a
way.
monster.
They did.
A monster that they're not going to be able to contain.
Yeah, and Brand Risk and Adin Ross, they're doing it a bit different than Misfits in the fact of their matchups pairing. Of course, I would say the quality for Adin Ross's promotion is far worse than the quality we see in Misfits. But Misfits, they got a lot of their fighters from, you know, these past influencer shows. You know, they were able to bring some back, and like some up and coming ones, you know, they're able to bring. So the fighters that they were able to put into their roster were people we already knew, so we had like an understanding of them. When it comes to Adin Ross, I mean, I look at the fight cards sometimes and I'm like, dude, I know like no one here. I maybe know only one, like the YK Osiris.
Yeah, that's a rapper. How did Adin Ross get a rapper to fight on his card?
You get the Island Boys there too. I mean, they're the only ones I know. Everyone else, I'm like, yo, who the fuck is Ant or K Preem, Oblivion? Like, I don't know these guys like at all. So they're doing it a bit different, but I feel like they have enough like polling power, like in the streaming community.
Yeah.
I would assume that they're like streamers as well.
Yeah, some of them are like Oblivion. I feel like they're like streamer world type fighters.
So therefore, he's catering more towards that group, that niche, instead of catering towards what Misfits was doing and catering for like the traditional or the influencer boxing community. So they're doing a bit different. They're going more for the views and more for the vibes, in my opinion, than Misfits, who I feel like they're a bit more serious in some aspects, and the quality is definitely a lot better. But there's a difference between how they're trying to set up their business.
Oh, there's a big difference. I mean, the production quality, like, it's just like night and day. I mean, we're talking about, Misfits, they're taking it like it's an organized, real boxing event. Whereas, you know, Adin Ross is just like in a warehouse, in an octagon. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the cameras are like 480p. Like, I mean, you know, like, you know, so it's but I think you're right. It does, that caters more towards like a more authentic type of streamer type of vibe, where like, you know, obviously they have their fan base, so that they probably like that more, which is a little bit more raw instead of all the production. And that also helps them because they're able to pop out a shit ton of events.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're active with these events, so you know, there's a pros and cons.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I also think that also just the fact that you know, the press, you know, it's just a new idea, it's a new thing that is just coming into fruition, and you know, they're like the new kid on the block. So every time they have these press conferences, I don't know anyone, but I remember them like either slapping each other or doing other crazy stuff, you know, to get that attention that'd be popping up on my timeline.
And now it also helps that it's Adin Ross. And we're talking about Adin Ross, one of the biggest streamers on the planet. So it definitely helps that he's the one who's organizing this promotion, which is where the viewing comes from him being the top dog in the streaming community. I don't think I've ever watched an Adin Ross stream though.
No,
we don't really watch streams, but yeah, Brand Risk is, you know, it was this past weekend too, right? Yeah, and I mean, I just kept seeing a bunch of clips like of different fights, and I'm like, dude, I have no idea who's fighting. I don't even know what's going on, dude. But like, yeah, I mean, I just see Ice Spice is there, a lot of these celebrities. I'm like, dude, that's some crazy pull. Like, when are we gonna see that? Like, on the Misfits event?
Misfits, no.
I mean, we had Eubank. I mean, we had Eddie Hearn there. You know, we've had some fighters in there. You know, somewhat big celebrities that they be pulling up.
Yeah, and it only be for like events that have like KSI or like Logan Paul. You know what I'm saying? Someone that's like truly like a very, very big name.
Yeah.
But if it's like Salt Poppy that's like headlining the card, or like, you know, that footballer from the UK, like no one really be going to those. No big celebrities or anything.
Or maybe just like the UK, like
UK,
like Danny Aaron's against Danny Simpson. I mean, they probably had like their friend group. I mean, they're all big YouTubers over there, so it's more niche over there, I guess. So, but yeah. Different formulas for their success, and Brand Risk is definitely here to make noise and to, I feel, cause some commotion to Misfits, even though Adin Ross has said that, you know, there's like no beef. You know, he wishes them well, because they asked him about the the cancellations and the postponements on Misfits, and he didn't go at them. He just said, they do their thing. It happens. So we just got off topic about the influencer. Thank you, Neon man. He's the one who did it. But I think we covered everything that we wanted to cover for today. Now back to the real boxing, traditional Boots Ennis. Let us know down below your thoughts and opinions about Boots and his performance this past weekend. Do you think he has what it takes to become undisputed champion? And tell us, what do you want to see next for Boots at the 154? Who do you think he matches up well? Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on all forms of social media. Lastly, we're trying to build up a community on Discord, and you guys joining would be greatly appreciated. But this was Pablo, and I'm with Rulo and Asa, and this was the Last Round Podcast. Thank you for watching.